Now, if you're looking for a first-person stealth game, I highly recommend a Dishonored 1. Dishonored 1, right? So it's kind of like a fiction, it's a game by, Arcane Studios and Bethesda, coming out like in 2011. Now, it's a first-person stealth style game where you have, there's these cool superpower, abilities, and it takes place in this fictional kind of 1800s, either the 1800s or the 1700s. There's like basically like this, a conspiracy, like this queen gets killed. This queen gets killed, and then you, as the main character, get the blame for it, and you're basically an outcast, and then you have to kind of, through these, assassination missions, kill whoever was involved in the, conspiracy, clear your name, etc. I'll talk about gameplay first. Dishonored is, again, it is very focused heavily like on stealth, right? So sneaking around, taking out enemies one by one, escaping a detection, etc. The game itself, right? It's pretty bloody, right? So the game itself, you can slice off limbs, like these cool kind of bloody animations. You're mainly fighting enemy soldiers on the lookout for you. So enemy soldiers or like enemies or bandits that were involved in the a conspiracy. Now, my favorite part of the game is the abilities. The abilities that you get from a time slowing ability to teleportation abilities to you can summon like a rat swarm at the fight for you. There's like a wind pushing ability, and there's like a mind control ability. Basically, your superpowers, right, are channeled from the outsider, kind of like this mysterious spiritual force. It is channeled through him, right, as he tries to reshape Dunwall's history. Now, the superpowers are themselves, right, they can be purchased from the upgrade menu, right, so from the powers list, and you basically upgrade these powers from runes. Runes you find throughout the world, they're kind of like artifacts that are used to upgrade the superpowers. My favorite one being the teleportation, because it makes it so you can move around so quickly. So you can move around the areas super very quickly, and then there's certain areas where there's certain kind of moments where you have to get to at the high ground in order to find certain upgrade items, right, in certain abandoned apartment areas. Now, for example, teleporting up on a rooftop will give you like an aerial advantage over, the enemies, and it makes it so much faster, right? It makes the gameplay so much faster. A time slowing ability. So the time slowing ability, you basically slow down time. So say you're about to get detected, and then you basically slow down time, and when you do this, you're basically invisible, right? So because you're moving so fast, and the time around you is slow, so you move so fast, and the enemies cannot see you in this. There's like a mind control ability. It's more like you're possessing somebody's body. You become that guard, and then you get to escape a detection pretty quickly. The rat swarm ability is probably my second favorite one, in that you can summon a rat swarm to fight for you. So these are probably 50 rats. They come, and then they attack. They attack. The enemies for you, right? And they literally consume the enemy's body to literally, to the bones, right? It kind of gets gruesome. So with the abilities of Dishonored, right, crazy, and as well you get different weapons, sleeping dart, so like a sleeping kind of dart crossbow. This is highly effective. To a regular crossbow darts, to a flammable darts. They literally scorch your enemy like on fire. To things like there's like a shotgun, like an 18th century kind of shotgun, which is pretty cool, and grenades, a spring razors is like this kind of mine trap, this tripwire trap, which is pretty cool. But my favorite one is the sleeping dart, right? It's just so effective. Into the mission design. So the mission design has you it's kind of level to level basis, in that each mission you're trying to, and the main goal is to assassinate a certain target. And as you go throughout the missions, right, you learn more about the conspiracy, and there's kind of like these different factions are within the government that you're trying to uncover. So you basically start each mission, right, and then you gotta start from point A to point B to point C, and then you gotta assassinate like a certain target. There's different ways you can poison someone's drink. You can, just an easiest way is just walk up behind them, cut their throat, kill them outright. You can hit them with a dart. You can set up like a trap. So the game gets very interesting, but there's many guards with many levels, especially near the end. There's many guards in the way in between you and the target, so it's gonna get tricky. It reminds me a lot of the gameplay. Reminds me a lot of Hitman. It reminds me a lot of Hitman. Combined with the game Thief. If you ever played Thief, it has a very similar tone to this game. But Hitman has a lot of that, right? Where you have to start from one area of the map and then you gotta assassinate certain targets. You can also eavesdrop on certain areas, right? There's a lot of looting in terms of picking up notes, lots of notes. Bethesda games love looting, love introducing looting, picking up ammo, health items. There's a certain kind of vial that kind of liquid that replenishes your superpower bar. There's stuff in the game, right? Locker codes. You can unlock certain kind of safes for extra coin, currency, or conspiracy notes. The lore in this game is pretty cool, right? It's cool reading a document, figuring out what this person has been up to, or how is this person involved in a certain area. There's a very cool mission in the game. It's like a mask party, and the mission is very deceiving because you don't know your target, and the main target is there's like 3 sisters, and there's one sister that is a target, but they're literally wearing the same uniform but in a different color. So that confused me. But if you pay attention, there's another character that tells you the specific one you are looking for. Now, in terms of other stuff in the game, Dishonored 2, there's traps. Dishonored, there's traps in the game, so there'll be alarm traps, right? So enemies will trigger like an alarm if they find you, like most stealth games. Or there'll be like a certain electric wall trap. So as soon as you enter this wall, it literally kills you, right? It's literally insta kill. But you can hack the trap. So there's like some sort of a rewire tool that you can use to kind of rewire these traps. So you can use these traps against enemies. One of the coolest things, and the AI is smart. So one of the coolest things to do is to hack the electric trap, a barrier, and then if the enemies come through it, they literally turn to dust. But the enemies will learn not to enter through it because they know that you sabotaged it. So it is a cool kind of feature. There's one trap where it's like an electric kind of field in that anything. So it works exactly like the electric wall, but the field literally zaps anything. Like any unknown being that gets too close to it. Rats could be could be any animal, could be you, etc. Now, I know there's DLC. I'm pretty sure there is a DLC for this game. I didn't play the DLC. I'm not sure. I don't think there's multiplayer. I think it's just a single player game. Oh, there's multiplayer. There is multiplayer. And I guess some of the other details would be the visuals, the audio. The visuals in this game are very impressive. The visuals, especially for the time 2012, 2011. For the time, this game looks amazing. It has kind of a semi-animated style and a semi-realistic art style, but you could tell Bethesda always goes for like a very unique kind of style to the characters and the world. Some of the characters, especially some of the female characters, are kind of shaped a little weird, right? But it is cool, right? The visual style of the game and some of the environments. The water areas, the building areas, the inner kind of apartment areas, they look so real. And for the time, especially if you look, going back now to Dishonored 2, the one after this, the graphics are amazing, right? And especially this one, the graphics were ahead of its time.